All right. It's wrestler spotlight time, and we got a good one. So this week, YouTube Chris has a treat for you. This week's spotlight is someone you knew very well. It is Katie.
Hey,
Yeah. So here we go.
all right.
Let's start at the beginning then. When and how did you and Katie meet?
Um, Katie and I met at WrestleCon in Dallas in 2016. She was there at the Wildcats booth with Luke Hawks,
Okay.
and I was just a few booths away from her. And no, check this out. This guy Brian Keenan,
Yeah.
he's calling right now.
Mm-hmm.
That was the end of my sentence.
No way.
I swear to God, dude, I've been telling you, this stuff happens. This is how plugged in I am to the universe with dude calling right before doing the Dan Masters show. You know all that. But anyway, I was about to say that I was a few tables away from Katie, and I was with this guy Brian Keenan. He was my agent. Isn't that crazy?
That's
Yeah,
so crazy.
yeah. He calls right on the money, man.
Man.
That happens all the time. Like people ask, Dreamer asked me one time because I was really starting to get into synchronicity and I was journalizing everything. Like I'd write that down because there's messages there and you can uncover it. Like it gets deeper and deeper. Like you can just keep uncovering it and then they relate to each other, all these different synchronicities. And then, and every once in a while, I like to do that. But at this time, Dreamer was like, what's the advantage? And I was like, dude, you don't understand. Like, it's like I'm plugged into the universe and it's working for me. Like I'm with the flow. But what's the advantage? I mean, why? What's it? What's the difference? I go, it's like going down the road and every light turns green for you. You know what I mean? And you just know that everything is going your way. I mean, that's what the magic of this is, when you really get plugged into it. And he didn't get it, But when I was first discovering, I would have a list for everybody. I'd be like, dude, I was just talking about this guy. I hadn't talked to him in 4 years, and then he texted. But anyway, it happens a lot. We just have to open our eyes to it. Man, what's the first book that turned me on to that synchronicity? I believe it was the Celestine Prophecy. If anyone's interested,
I'm interested because I definitely like that kind of stuff.
The Celestine Prophecy by James Renfield. It's a fictional book, but it's about the 9 insights to spiritual ascension. And the subject is very nonfiction. Like they tell a story of a guy going to Mount Pikachu or whatever, and learning step by step all these things that a lot of us that are like-minded like this, it changed our lives. There's so many people I've met that are like, dude, that got me into it too, because it turned us on to seeing everything as energy. And anyway, the book was so good, the movie not so good, but there's nonfiction study guides to it as well, because so many people liked the Celestine Prophecy. So there's like the Celestine Vision, and there's sequels to it. And anyway, but before I get sidetracked, that's how Katie and I met. Was that she was a couple rows over, and Luke brought her over. She wanted to meet me, and I didn't know, but I was already on her radar, and she already had her eye on me. She was training with Wildcats, and she had asked Luke to bring me in because Luke would bring in some guys sometimes and do wrestling seminars, guys that aren't as expensive maybe as RVD, and but she tried. And I didn't know about that, and so Luke was like, "Hey, Rob, this is Katie," and that boom, I looked at her and I was just like, "We don't shake hands, Katie. We hug," and I was like hugging her, and I was like, "Hey, this chick's really letting me do this." Like I thought she'd, Like I thought I was like jokingly trying to pass the creepy mark,
Right, yeah.
He loved it too, though, and I was like, "Wow, you have amazing energy." Yeah.
Man, how about that?